Welcome back, everyone, to Highlighted, an all sports culture podcast. Sam, Sully, Kurt trio is back. Today's episode, we talk about athletes that never reach their full potential. I mean, we don't really have a formatted structure here. We're just going to be talking about some athletes, kind of talking about, how they never reach their full potential, kind of people that come to mind, kind of just seeing where this goes. We said before the podcast, it's kind of going to be just an open discussion. We'll see where it goes. So, we just recently made a post, though, on our Instagram at All Sports Culture about athletes that never reached full potential. You can check it out. Some of those athletes, I'm assuming we'll bring up on this podcast. But, yeah, did I miss
I'll
anything,
go first.
Guys?
No, you nailed it on the head, man. You're the best host out there.
This is just us reminiscing about guys we were so hyped for that didn't do shit. So
I'll go first. My first athlete is Matt Sullivan.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to tell a little bit of a story, though. I was the fastest kid back in third, fourth grade. We played football in elementary school. You guys play football during recess and shit?
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those were the glory days. That was my prime. And we would do kickoffs and no one would ever catch me. It was a thing. It was don't let Sully get the ball on a kickoff.
Do you guys play two-hand touch or tackle?
We played two-hand touch, but on the last day of school, we'd always play tackle because the aides would make you stop playing. They'd make you go inside if you were playing tackle. But on the last day, we didn't care. Exactly. So we would just play tackle. And kids were literally dying on the field, but it was a great time. But yeah, I was the fastest kid by far. It was ridiculous. And for one, my legs definitely stopped moving as fast as I got older, but I also didn't grow from fourth grade on. So that was a little bit of a problem. Everyone caught up to me, and then I didn't have the other skills, so I fell off. But so that's my first answer. But my real answer is Derrick. I want to talk about Derrick Rose because he was on the graphic. A couple of people had a problem with it in the graphic, not as many as, ASC chat was predicting, because let me talk about this for a little bit. Do you guys have a problem with him being on the graphic?
No.
You shouldn't at all. There should be no problem. See, we're the fucking smartest people in ASC. It's not even close.
We're the only adults in ASC.
That's also true. That's true. So a lot of people, James in particular, highlighted crowd. If you guys don't know James, that's a good thing. His takes are very, very bad. He has ridiculous basketball takes and even worse football takes, but I won't rag on him too much. But he basically said, he won an MVP, which is a fair thing to say. It's a surface level take, but it's a fair thing to say. Someone who won MVP, how did they not reach their potential? But then he also follows it up with he won the most overrated MVP in the last 30 years, which is somewhat fair. A little bit of an overrated MVP. Should have went to LeBron. LeBron was obviously a much better player. But Derrick Rose was 23 years old. He was extremely athletic, and he was only getting better. To say that just because he won an MVP, what player do you know reaches their potential at 23 years old? Pretty much no one. That's not a thing. Everyone knows in sports, it depends on the sport, but in basketball, your prime is, 27 to 32. That's usually your prime, age. You're most athletically fit. That's kind of when you've honed your skills. You have some experience in the league. Derrick Rose was 23 years old. He was in the league for what? That was his third year? Come on.
Youngest MVP ever.
And then obviously he got injured. So that's why he wasn't able to really reach his full potential. So to say that he did just because he won an MVP is a very stupid argument, in my opinion.
I agree. And I think a lot of it is, like you just said, should have gone to LeBron in 11. And why he won the MVPs, because everyone was so excited about his potential. They're like, this guy is going to be the next LeBron.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a narrative MVP.
Exactly. Yeah, they were all like, he's going to be the youngest MVP ever. Led the Bulls to the 1 seed that year. He was unbelievable. But like you said, he, at the time, wasn't the best player in the NBA. That was still LeBron, Kevin Durant, etc. But we knew that he had that potential for the next couple of years. Obviously, the Bulls are in prime position. He goes down in the first round in 2011, and then it's shit from there. So anyone who just sees what happens with that Bulls team and what he did with them understands that if he's healthy, even for that playoffs, they're at least making it much farther if he's there. And then you look at obviously the next couple of years where he's not dealing with the injury, and anyone who says that Bulls team and him would not have been unbelievable, probably better than what we saw in 2011, I think is pretty ludicrous. So
yeah, Ludacris, the rapper.
Yep.
Well, I mean, the thing is with Derrick Rose is that you can make the argument he just never met his potential because we never got to see it, essentially. I mean, that MVP was like a little sign of what was to come. But then obviously Thibodeau had to play him in the late fourth quarter when he has no reason to play, and then blows out his knee, and then he continues to blow out that leg for the rest of his career. And that's what derails it. I mean, he nearly was like not in the league at one point. Because then he had other stuff that popped up with him that was kind of off the court. And then he kind of got back into things where he started playing again for the Timberwolves. And then obviously he had that 50-point game and he started making a name for himself again. I did too. Hype. It was an incredible game. And now he's made himself into a really good role player. I mean, on the Knicks, in 2021, he was a big piece of that rotation. They were starting fucking Elfrid Payton at point guard, and then Tibbs was like, I'm not even going to bother with playing Elfrid Payton more than 4 minutes. I just have Derrick Rose play the whole games. So Derrick Rose was a first overall pick. He won an MVP. I mean, you could argue who should have actually won that MVP all day long. It's LeBron. But the thing is, he's not like the biggest bust you could ever say. Like, you can't say that. Close. But he deserves to be on this list for the sake of injury. I mean, injuries derail players' careers, and that's just a fact. You can't deny that. And I'm sure we're going to bring up a lot of other players that have similar situations where they're a highly drafted player that has a lot of hype. They show signs early on, and then they have one major injury, and then they just never look the same. That's probably going to be the case with a lot of the guys we bring up, but sometimes the guys we bring up just won't have worked out at all, and they just sucked from the get-go. But Derrick Rose definitely qualifies, I think. And I don't think it's outlandish to say he doesn't deserve to be on this list, because I'm going to bring up someone who just never lived up to their potential, but recently has been making a name for themselves again. And that's Andrew Wiggins. I don't know if you guys remember the Andrew Wiggins hype coming into the 2014 NBA draft.
That was absurd.
He was touted as the next Kobe Bryant by like literally everyone. Maple Jordan, all these other kinds of names for him. He was an athletic freak. He had his bounce. Everyone was just hyping him up. And then he goes to Cleveland first overall, gets traded to the Timberwolves that same offseason. And everyone's like, oh, he's going to turn the franchise around. Obviously, that hasn't happened. They get Karl Anthony Towns the next year. They make a dynamic duo. They have Zach LaVine in there too. And Wiggins he had a great rookie year, but he never improved. He just never kept building upon his rookie year. His efficiency numbers would go down consistently, and he just wouldn't take that next step. And it wasn't until he got traded for D'Angelo Russell and gone to Golden State where his career kind of got revitalized. And he's actually been playing a really good role on the Warriors team so far in the playoffs. And you could argue he was their second best player in the Western Conference Finals. He was great in that. But the thing is, the hype for Andrew Wiggins, would you guys say he had more hype than Zion?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
I don't think so.
I don't think
Zion was being compared to, Wiggins,
Wiggins got compared to Jordan and Kobe.
Yeah, but like
some people at the time, though, even when Zion was in high school, people were saying this is the best high school player ever. And I was like, that's not true, but people were saying it.
I mean, let's look at like NBA first overall picks. So we have I don't think there's anyone other than Wiggins and Zion that even compares to them in the past 15 years, like of hype.
Let's go
through. If you guys could think of something else. I mean, Cade, no. Anthony Edwards, no. Zion, yes. Ayton, no. Fultz, we'll get to Fultz probably. Ben Simmons, no. Towns, no. Bennett, no. Anthony Davis.
Yeah, Anthony.
Yeah, probably.
Anthony Davis had a lot of hype.
But then I would say no one else.
Yeah.
Until LeBron. So it's just a story of like a guy that just never took that next step. And I don't know if you guys have anything else to say about Wiggins, but he just never really took that next step. But I'm glad he's playing a role on Golden State because.
Yeah, I will say with Wiggins, and obviously you're right in the sense they never reached the full potential. I think a lot of people think when they hear that phrase that it's like they just turned out bad. But Wiggins' career, he's had a pretty solid career nonetheless. Yeah, he's been good. Obviously, like you just said, the hype surrounding him, number 1 overall pick, has he matched that? Probably not. But obviously, in his first couple seasons in Minnesota, he was averaging close to 20 points per game, which obviously on the surface level is really good. Talk about when he goes now to Golden State. I mean, when they made the trade, like Sam just alluded to, when he goes to Golden State, everyone's like, oh, Golden State lost that trade. Andrew Wiggins sucks. And he's been really solid for them and had a good role for them, especially in this playoffs, like Sam mentioned. So I agree with you that he didn't reach the full potential, but obviously some people, I think when they saw the post, just kind of assumed it meant like they had a bad career, which obviously isn't true. And obviously that's not what we're saying though.
Absolutely not.
All right.
Curtis, do you have someone?
I do have someone, and it's exactly who you mentioned, or not. Sorry, it's exactly what you described, Sam. A guy who was highly drafted, had really good signs in the beginning, detrimented by an injury. And that's my guy, RG3. RG3 was the last time I was happy as a Washington fan. I'm not even kidding. That 2012 year, started the year 3-6, went into the bye in week 10, and I thought the season was over. Won 7 games in a row to win the NFC East. RG3 was like God in Washington. We all wanted to buy him, like build a statue of him. And it's weird because people forget during the year, he was still battling injuries too. He had a concussion in week 6 against Atlanta that year.
How the fuck do you know that?
Last time I was happy, man. I remember a lot.
Let's relive this season a lot.
And then against Baltimore, he gets another injury where Kirk Cousins has to come into the game his first time as a starter. We win that game. He also has, I think there's one other one that I'm forgetting, but he had injuries during the year. So he was already you saw that he couldn't really stay healthy, especially that rookie year, but it was that run against Minnesota that you guys all know that it's just like, that made you just so excited as a Washington fan. And then obviously we play Seattle in the playoff game and we're up 14-0. And then because FedEx Field is a utter pile of dog shit, he blows his leg out. And it's never been the same since. And it's weird because he becomes healthy after that. But the coaching staff pretty much at that time picked Kirk Cousins over RG3, which is kind of fair because Kirk Cousins was playing pretty solid ball with us. And then basically RG3 never finds his way into the team. And then he goes off to, I think Cleveland was his next destination. Then doesn't work out there. So he had a weird career, but obviously everyone wants to talk about his 2012 rookie year. It was so much fun as a fan, and you just had so much life for a team that's never really had a franchise quarterback. The last time since Mark Rippon in 91. I mean, other than that, we haven't had a franchise quarterback, and he even wasn't that good in 91. So the fact that we kind of had someone that we thought for the next 10 to 15 years was going to lead us to so much glory. It's sad that it ended just after 1 year. And not to pick anyone else, I don't think this counts, but obviously you also, since I mentioned 2012, Andrew Luck, I think, reached kind of that potential, but also you want to know like what he could have done.
I said Andrew Luck should have been on the list.
There you go.
I don't.
I said it should have been on there.
He was a top 5 quarterback when healthy. And
but the thing with the Colts team, with the Colts team, the 2 years I thought, like his last year he played, and then the next year he was going to play. He was obviously injured for the majority of that span, but that Colts team was actually the first Colts team since they made the AFC Championship. Even that AFC Championship run where they got blown out by the Patriots, it still wasn't that good of a team. I think Luck was the only reason why that team had a chance in there, and obviously it's because the Patriots also deflate balls. But with the Colts, like those last 2 years that he was there, those were going to be the best teams easily that he had in his career. And you looked at, they finally had an offensive line for him, because you looked at the last couple of years now with this Colts team, we regard them as one of the best teams with an offensive line in the NFL. Can you imagine if Andrew Luck, fully healthy, had that supporting cast? Would have been a lot of fun to see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's why I said Andrew Luck. Like, he was good, but I think he could have been better.
Yeah, I agree. But I think Andrew, like, I agree with Sam in the sense that, like.
But the thing is, can you put that on him? Like, a lot of these people we're talking about are outside factors, or they're not outside factors that are affecting them. I mean, Andrew Luck, he played at the top of his position when he was healthy and did it for year in and year out, even after injuries. Like, it's not like Derrick Rose, where Derrick Rose got hurt and then he just fell off a cliff. Andrew Luck, after his injuries, he still played well consistently.
Right. And even like we're seeing with Burrow now, he comes back right after he gets the horrible ACL injury and he leads into a Super Bowl.
Exactly. So I can't really say the same thing for Andrew Luck as I would for RG3. Like, we may have seen RG3 at his peak, but we never saw it again after. Andrew Luck has had some pretty fucking bad injuries. And obviously he got so many that he had to fucking retire early, but he still played well regardless of them. And you may argue that Andrew Luck, I mean, yeah, he's the best quarterback prospect we've seen since Peyton Manning. I don't even know, but I mean, Trevor Lawrence competes with him, but like, the hype for Andrew Luck was crazy, but I don't think he didn't live up to it. I think he certainly did. He played for years and was really great in them. I just think his team didn't live up to him. And obviously it forced him to retire, which is Andrew Luck retiring is going to be one of the craziest, like, what ifs.
That was a crazy day.
Because it was a crazy day. And because Adam Schefter forcefully reported it during a preseason game.
And the fans peppered him.
Yeah, they booed him as he was walking off. And that was during, I remember a big college football game was going on at that time. And I'm watching, and I'd see, like, at the bottom with this ESPN breaking news, it was like, Andrew Luck is just like announced, or Andrew Luck will retire. And I was like, what the fuck? No shot. This is real. And by that time, a lot of people did their fantasy drafts already, because it was so close. Like, it was around that preseason time. And I remember so many people were upset about that. So.
Not me. I could predict the future, but
of course, yeah.
All right, Sully. Well, tell us about a person you predicted the future for that you were wrong about. My transition game. It's back.
I mean, I want to. Well, you're gonna put me on a silver platter here. My answer is Josh Rosen, but I don't really want to talk about Josh Rosen.
All of us love
Josh Rosen. My guy right there.
That's all of our guy right there.
I'll talk about Josh Rosen, so it's like I'm not gonna talk about him. I do want to bring it back to RG3 for a second. I've told this story before on here, I think, but just a little make Kurt feel good, a little reminisce. I remember week 1 against the Saints in the Superdome. I had a Pierre Garçon RG3 stack, slant pass, or maybe it was a post, 70-yard touchdown, like literally like maybe the second play of the game.
So well, Pierre goes like this, catches it behind his back, runs 70 yards. RG3's on the floor like this.
Yeah. Yep. Like
so
pointing
good.
up. And I was like fucking 13 years old or something. So I was like obsessed with fantasy at the time. I was in my friend's garage. It was like all of us were watching, and we had just, started the league. Like maybe a year before that, we were super into it. I mean, I look at my fantasy app. I got fucking like 60 points on the first play of the game. I was like, this is like the best thing that's ever happened in the world. That shit was unbelievable.
I want to show you guys something I got after the 2012 year that I've kept forever.
Nice.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's a shame that it doesn't mean more to me, but it did that one year.
Yeah.
All right, who else we got on this list?
I mean, I'll continue to bring up some guys that we had on the post that were kind of, maybe caused a lot of debate. The top liked comment, actually the second like topped is why are these so many Philly athletes, which I think is funny. But the second comment is talking about how Clowney shouldn't have made the list, and I disagree with that.
Yeah.
Coming out of college, Clowney was, there's maybe been no play in the history of college football that has been watched more than the Clowney hit.
Yeah.
That has gotten more coverage than that hit.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, that's obviously like one hit, but that kind of personified the hype that he had. He was supposed to be like the best edge rusher, coming out, immediately an all-star talent.
No, Jadeveon Clowney was, I would argue, is the most hyped up defensive player in the last 20 years coming out of college.
I don't know shit about the draft, so like
Myles Garrett, dude.
At
Myles Garrett.
At the time, at the time, Houston already had edge. But
I mean, the top of that draft was not good. I mean,
no,
it was who was the top four? It was Jadeveon Clowney, Blake Bortles, Watkins, and who did the Rams had the second pick? Who did they take?
They took an offensive tackle.
Because I know after those first four picks, Khalil Mack went, Mike Evans went, Jake Matthews went, Anthony Barr went, Odell went. Oh my God. Aaron Donald went. Like
Greg Robinson was number 2.
Greg Robinson. Okay. Yeah. I remember that draft class because the top 4 picks sucked. And then like the next 14 picks were all Pro Bowlers.
Well, Blake Bortles is elite.
Blake Bortles is elite.
Of course, he is elite. Just like Joe Flacco.
Back to Clowney. The guy basically said in the comment he's 3-time Pro Bowler. He's been an All-Pro before. But Clowney's been a serviceable guy. He's been pretty solid in his prime. I would say he's out of it now. He's kind of just like jumping around. He's not even that old, so it's kind of like to say he never reached his potential is fair. To talk about, he was at least in the conversation of one of the most hyped defensive prospects or edge, in the last 15 years. And he was never really like the best defensive player in the league or really even the conversation. So I think it's fair to be on the list for sure.
It should tell you a lot that the past few years, like the past 4 years, he has only signed 1-year deals so that he can play on that 1-year deal.
Get more money.
And have a big year and then get a massive contract. He's been doing that for 4 years, banking on it happening. It hasn't happened. When he got traded from Houston to Seattle, he got traded for what? A 3rd-round pick and 2 players. It wasn't really anything notable. So obviously, I agree with you, Sully. I think he absolutely deserves to be on the list based on the sheer amount of hype he had. As well as just how his career has gone. It just hasn't been the way that a lot of people projected it. And also you look at his draft class, there was arguably the best defensive player of all time in that draft class with Aaron Donald. And then you have Khalil Mack going 4 picks later than him. So that should really tell you everything. And obviously you could play, hindsight is 2020. And you could say, oh, this guy panned out better, and you're always going to compare them. But with Clowney, it's just, he's just not that great. He's only signing to be an edge 2 now. That's what he's doing. And he's still doing the same 1-year deal shit. And it's not going to happen, dude. That's all I'm going to say.
Fair. All right, Sam, you got anyone?
I do have a talking point that I think is going to be interesting for us to debate.
Okay.
Alex Smith.
All
right.
That is a good one. Honestly,
we're just trying to hurt me with RG3 now. Alex Smith.
Well, the reason being is obviously 2005 draft. He comes out with Aaron Rodgers. He goes first overall to the Niners, who could have had the opportunity to pick the hometown kid and Aaron Rodgers. They go with Alex Smith. Rodgers.
I do want to say. I feel like everyone thinks Rodgers was a better prospect.
It was
Smith.
Smith. It was Smith. Let's not get it twisted. It was Smith. But I'm just saying, I got to set the stage a little bit.
Obviously they should have took Rodgers. Obviously.
Aaron Rodgers falls, pick 24. Rest is history. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Wait, hang on. This is kind of funny. Ron Rivera fined Jack Del Rio, which I think is kind of weird. How does the head coach fine a defensive coordinator?
He said, just give me $100,000.
I mean, all right.
Not the organization. Ron Rivera just
Ron Rivera's like, let me.
He's taking it into his own hands.
He's taking initiative, man. All right, continue. Sorry.
But yeah, Aaron Rodgers gets picked at 24 after falling and sitting in the green room all night. Rest is history. One of the greatest QBs ever. Alex Smith goes to San Fran. He's good there. He has injury problems, but he's good there. San Fran makes the playoffs a couple times. He gets injured, and then Kaepernick comes in, and they get to a Super Bowl without him. So Alex Smith is on the out now because they got young gun Kaepernick in there. Goes to Kansas City. He's good in Kansas City. They are consistently above 500, but he's not the guy who takes that next step for that team. Patrick Mahomes comes in. He's the young gun. That's a stud. They send off Alex Smith to Washington. Goes to Washington. Does well. Washington's looking to win that division. Blows out his knee. And his career is basically over. He has like one of the worst injuries I've ever seen in my life, by the way, with that blown out knee.
That was horrible. Yeah.
So I just want to get your guys. I mean, obviously, I just said hindsight is 2020, and obviously Alex Smith will always be compared to Aaron Rodgers because of that whole draft and what happened there. But based on his career of being a good but not great quarterback, what's your stance on this?
I don't think I think we saw his potential though. I think we've seen the maximum talent he can provide. Like you said, he had opportunities even with the injuries before the big one he was good, but Alex Smith is never going to be an elite level quarterback. Even when Washington got him, he was, he's obviously have the narrative where he's just a check down guy, doesn't turn the ball over, but isn't going to do anything super flashy. That's what he's been known for his whole career. And sure, yeah, that's good. But at the same time, you're not going to have this elite level guy. When he was in San Francisco, he was a really solid quarterback. That was the best he's played. When they beat the Saints in the playoffs that one year, I think it was 2010. I don't know exactly the year. That was the best I think he's played in his career. And even that, he wasn't a top 5 quarterback at the time. So I don't think he did reach his maximum potential, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a tough argument because it's like it gets kind of weird when it's like, was he kind of just mis-scouted? Or did he maybe he did reach his full, but maybe he reached the full potential of Alex Smith. But then you could kind of bring up that argument for like all the number one or, hyped up prospects. So it's like maybe Jadeveon Clowney reached his potential. Who the fuck knows? But yeah, no, I think Alex Smith was a solid quarterback. Like in his prime, he was, I wouldn't say very good, but he was a step below it. He always did what you kind of asked of him. And he wasn't like elite to get you over the hump, but he always got you right there, which is hard to ask for in the league to be that consistent, for as long as he was. So honestly, it was pretty good of him. I don't think he should be on the list, but I don't think it's a horrible take to say that he might sniff it.
I want to bring up 2 more guys, then we can maybe transition to NBA because I feel like we've been talking a lot with NFL.
Well, every sport sucks.
That's true. The 2 guys I want to mention, one is kind of not controversial, but one I think you could definitely argue he reached his potential, but obviously he fell off, so maybe he could do more. Le'Veon Bell.
I like that.
I like it.
He's the best running back in the league.
He was. For multiple years, he was.
I think a better one is Todd Gurley, and I still don't think Todd Gurley should be on the list. He's the best running back in the league.
Yeah, it's true.
And running back primes are short. They are.
That's Sully, who else we could talk about?
But Saquon?
Mm-hmm.
I think Saquon it's early to put him on the list, but I don't think it's bad take.
Well, he is on the list in the post.
Yeah. I was actually going to bring him up, but we talked a lot about the NFL, like you said. But yeah, I don't think Saquon's a horrible take, honestly. I mean, it's super early into his career, although not really, considering he's a running back. They should be good by now. But, I mean...
Injuries.
Yeah, injuries and just the situation is just bad. It's the same thing with Andrew Luck. Injury situation sucks.
But Saquon sucked after he came back from injury. We can't get that twisted.
Yeah. And then one other guy I quickly want to mention is Jay Cutler, because he got the big contract and then was just pretty much shit.
Jay Cutler just didn't give a fuck.
Don't disrespect Jay Cutler.
Oh, Jay Cutler's
top
probably
favorite quarterback ever.
He's probably the coolest dude of all time.
I love Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard that story about his divorce from his wife?
Yes.
It's one of the wildest things ever.
It's
absolutely hilarious.
His wife was on that like really big reality show, and my mom always watched it. Couldn't tell you what it's called though, because she'd
Real
be
Housewives?
like, I don't know if it was Real Housewives, but her wife was just a big. My mom watches just the stupidest shit. So, I mean, when she was just like, Jay Cutler, and I was like, yeah, I know Jay Cutler. And she's like, oh, I know his wife, and then they split. So
she apparently was on the Dancing with the Stars.
That's my mom watches that, but it wasn't that.
The
That
Hills
is stupid.
on MTV.
No, keep going.
The Hills.
Paradise Hotel.
No.
The Middle.
No.
The Fabulous.
I gotta ask her. I'll bring her to the room and be like, what was your
Very Cavallari? Cavallari.
Now I want to know what this is.
Yeah, we'll make a post about it later.
Yeah. All right. Hold on standby. Let me ask her. All right, guys. Just ask the mother, and she does not know. I know you guys are desperate to find out.
Unreal.
If she lets me know, I'll make sure you guys all know. But to continue, we want to do some other sports instead of NFL. Sam, you said you had a couple, so fire us away.
All right. Well, the problem with this like post is that
there's no problems with any of our posts.
Well, obviously. But with like MLB and NHL, these guys are in the minors. And a lot of these dudes just flame out in the minors.
Yeah, you don't even know what they are unless you're like fucking hardcore.
So we just never know. We like don't see them in the public eye. It's not like the NFL and the NBA where these guys go right into the fire right away. It's not like that with the MLB or the NHL. So I really can't speak to the MLB or NHL at all unless you're talking about your own team, because that you see your own minors system and you know who is in what. But I mean, I'll bring up Markelle Fultz, the good old Markelle Fultz. This is one of the weirdest situations.
It was called Very Cavallari.
He said that.
I said that.
All right. Well, there it is. There you go. It has a 4.6 out of 10 on IMDb.
Not bad. Not bad.
That's not that bad. It's not that bad. That's a testament.
Keep going. Sorry. I just had to let everyone know. Breaking news on the spot.
Well, Markelle Fultz, this is recent. There is a lot of interesting talking points about this whole situation. I think most notably is he was clearly the number one prospect, I believe, when this draft class happened. And everyone was hyped for him. And so much so that this first overall pick was owned by the Celtics via the Brooklyn Nets from the Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce trade. And that pick ended up getting traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. The Sixers took Fultz. Celtics trade down to 3. And who do they get? Jason Tatum.
He's okay.
Who currently is in the NBA Finals. The Sixers currently are sitting at home eating potato chips on their couch.
So am I, so it's not a bad life.
Hey, it's not. But Markelle Fultz, do you guys remember the whole like chronicle of this entire situation with Fultz?
Yeah, he had a fucking ugly ass form jump shot.
They tried to change it. There's like videos of him shooting different. And
his free throw routine, he like went like that. He like twisted his arm weird.
That man was different at Washington though. Fucking stud.
He was. And then he gets to the league and he completely forgot how to shoot.
I remember it was like his first game though. He played well. And then after that, it was like a shit show.
I think he had a triple double. He had the youngest triple double in NBA history.
That might be my Syracuse guy, Michael Carter.
No,
Carter Williams.
It was beat by Markelle Fultz. You want to know why I know that? Because it was in the last game of the season against the Bucks. I remember watching that game.
I'll look it up.
It was Markelle Fultz. I think Luka beat it though.
The best player of all
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think Luka beat it or someone else's.
I think Luka's my answer for athletes that never reached full potential.
It is not Luka or Markelle Fultz. It's Josh Giddey.
It just got beat. It just got beat.
Yeah.
But I at the time Markelle did have it. That's what I'm saying. But the thing is, he completely forgot how to shoot.
Actually, no.
What? Someone else beat it?
LaMelo broke it.
Okay.
So yeah.
But LaMelo's.
It goes Josh Giddey, then LaMelo, then Markelle, then Luka.
Then Michael Carter Williams.
No, then Lonzo, then LeBron, then
Nah.
I don't even know who the fuck this is.
Ekpe
His
Udo.
name. Ekpe Udo.
LeBron.
That's a name.
Dennis Smith Jr., then Lamar Odom.
God.
Dennis Smith Jr.
Dennis
should have
Smith
been on this.
Jr.
Dennis Smith Jr. should have been on this list.
He should have, yeah.
He was fun as hell.
Yeah.
He was a major piece of the Kristaps trade. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah, he was.
Well, the Knicks, they botched it. They didn't originally draft him, and then they traded for him, and he sucked.
Jeez.
Oh my goodness.
They drafted Frank Ntilikina over him. Frank Ntilikina.
Jeez, dude. All these guys.
Who's now playing well for Dallas. So
Is he playing well though?
Yeah, he was playing well. He was clamping up Chris
He
Paul.
played like fucking 4 minutes, didn't he?
He was clamping up Chris Paul.
I swear the NBA like 5 years ago,
All right.
prime stuff, and now it's just
Yeah, it's
horrible.
sucks.
Well, Markelle forgot how to shoot. He had that whole saga with his nerve or something like that in his shoulder that they were blaming on his shot form being broken. I've never seen a player just forget how to shoot overnight. I've never seen that before in my life.
Yeah, it was really bad.
And then they trade him for like a guy in a second round pick. And then he gets paid in Orlando somehow. He's making like $20 million a year right now, believe it or not.
They're fucking giving out contracts to everyone, man.
I mean,
They are.
I'm about to go fucking make $3 million a year.
I'll look up his contract. Let me look up his contract for you guys. Okay, it was 3 years, 50, which is 17 mil a year. I was close enough. But his stats, what do you guys think his stats are right now? Do you think he's actually like playing well, or do you think
He averaged 11 points.
You're right.
I've never been wrong.
How many assists is he dealing?
How many assists? Yeah.
Assists? He was at 3.8.
No, he's at 5.5.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad.
What was his 3-point shot at?
His 3-point, I mean, he's just like 28.5. It wasn't that good.
23.
Damn.
Shit.
I know.
Sucks.
How many minutes per game do you think he plays?
He's playing 26.
He
No
plays
shot.
20. He plays 20.
I was gonna say
20.
14. Damn.
He's getting paid $17 million for 20 minutes.
I,
Bro, come on. He's almost getting paid $1 million a minute.
I know this is the
What the fuck is
magic,
this,
but
dude?
like, come on, dude. This is fucking gross.
Everyone's getting paid.
He got traded in his second year. Like that's just say everything. And he didn't play like at
I thought
all.
it was more than that, honestly. I thought he was there for like 2 or 3 years.
It was he got traded at the
Sitting on
trade
the
deadline.
bench.
He got traded at the trade deadline in his second year. And what makes it even worse is just remembering that Jason Tatum got picked at the pick that the Philly used to have. That just makes it all
You guys
worse.
see that viral like picture that's like Jason Tatum is wearing what Kobe wore to his Celtics tryout.
Yeah.
And then you see the fucking response that someone had and said, looks like a Boston Celtics player is wearing Celtics gear at a Celtics practice.
Right. I was
Fucking hilarious.
Do you guys think the dick riding's too much though?
Yes.
I
Of like, wait,
little
what
bit.
are you talking about?
Of Tatum on Kobe.
Yes, but I think it's being done by Tatum himself.
It is.
Oh yeah. No,
Do you
that's what
see
I'm
his
saying.
profile picture?
Yes. It's both of them with like the
Yeah,
ball in the back. Yeah.
All right,
Also,
I have a question. All
right, what?
My fantasy group chats, like my close friends back home talked about this. Do you guys think it would be weirder? So you know how he texted Kobe and put it on his Instagram?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you think it would be weirder if he texted him and didn't tell anyone?
No, he should have done that.
So you think it's weirder that he put it on his Instagram?
Yes. I don't.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't really
My
see the
friends
point.
actually say the other way around.
No, I don't really see the point putting it on Instagram. I think that's just something you just kind of.
My friends also said it's weird to begin with at all.
It is weird.
It is a little weird.
It's too
What
much.
if Vanessa is on the other side of that phone?
And he wears
Like,
the
what did she
24
think of
like
that?
wristband the whole night. I'm like,
I
dude,
think that's fine. I think
that's
wristband is
fine. I think that's
the
fine.
wristband's
but it's like
fine.
just so many things on top of each other, and I'm like, this. Is
I agree.
just-
I agree. It is a little OD. I don't think it's that weird though. I kind of think it's cool.
I think it's a little weird.
But I mean, think about it though.
None of us can really attest to this level of like, you know, having a role model and actually like achieving your own dream and not having to.
I don't know what you're talking about, Sully, but you're my role model. I'm living the dream
Okay.
right now.
All right. So yeah, Sam texts me once in a while. So I guess it makes sense. He puts it on his Instagram. but
I'm designing for you today, man. That's what he texts you.
no, but like think about it. Like if you loved football and Tom Brady was your role model, right? And you were super good and you still love Tom Brady and you finally got to the NFL and Tom Brady, let's say we were more closer in age, right? Obviously, Tom Brady died. You had like great talks with him, but it never really reached that point of like, you know, like he was your mentor and everything, but it never really got as far as you wanted it to. Cause I feel like that's probably what happened between Tatum and Kobe. They probably had many more conversations they would have had in their lifetime. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So he dies. Tom Brady dies. Horrible to say, but it happens. So
After our post today.
yeah, but would you like, that's obviously going to affect you.
Yeah,
And you don't think
like
like texting him, like, you know, it's like something like in your head, man, you know, like no one
Yeah,
can
I'm fine.
understand
I'm
how
fine
close
with him
he is to Kobe.
texting him. Just don't post it on Instagram.
Oh, I think it's kind of cool though.
Why do you think it's cool?
Like
Why?
it's cringe. It's very cringe, but it's also like kind of cool.
how you gonna do that? Let Jaylen Brown outplay you in the finals? Then?
Oh, Jaylen Brown's better than Tatum, but we'll have that conversation at a different date.
I swear you literally said a week ago that Jason Tatum was a top 10 player.
Jason Tatum I've been on the overrated Jason Tatum train for a very long time. Zion is better than Jason Tatum.
Oh no!
Yeah, right.
I forgot you had this.
I
forgot
Jason
you had the
Tatum is
Zion
overrated. Here's the thing about the Zion Jason Tatum take. You can't say. Here's the thing. People are
I
like,
could say it's wrong.
Jason Tatum's in the finals. Zion's not playing. Exactly. Zion's not even able to prove that he's better than Tatum. He'll prove it next year. Don't worry.
Sully, in 5 years, and another version of this podcast, Zion might be in this podcast because of how much injuries he's had.
He fucking might
Yo,
be.
He's played
he'll be
less
on this
games than Greg Oden. He's
He'll be
played
on-
less games than Greg Oden in his first year.
We'll be on
That's
this
good.
podcast because
I
we're
like
getting the
that.
best guest in the NBA. We'll be like, welcoming on the number one player in the NBA is Zion Williamson.
Yes. And then we'll say, welcome
Jason
number
Tatum
two,
is
Jason
sadly
Tatum.
retired though because he sucks.
Yeah, he's gonna retire. Jason Tatum might be on this list. Jason Tatum fucking shoots 4 for 17 in the finals. I don't want to hear it.
Jaylen Brown is.
You think Zion would do that? Zion is shooting fucking 18 for 21 in the finals. Okay.
But the rest of his team won't do shit.
Oh yeah, but
Is
Is he on the Knicks in this scenario?
Yeah, he's
of course he's on the Knicks.
Scenario.
He's on the Knicks.
Oh,
All right. I'm gonna ask you guys this.
Let's do one or two more, or whatever you're gonna say.
Is there a specific player from your team that has hurt you?
Yeah, I
in
already
terms of
mentioned him.
this? Well, do like another one.
Do like Jahan Dotson maybe.
Yeah.
But he's gonna be the greatest ever, so it won't matter.
I'll do Quay Walker. You do
All right,
Jahan Dotson.
All right. The only one that really comes to mind, and I wouldn't even put him on the list, is John Wall, because he was entering his prime when he was out for 2 years. And then we sent him to Houston and he's been shit.
I've actually seen a lot of John Wall stuff on Twitter, or I guess maybe it was just like one
because
thing.
Colin Cowherd said he was a bad teammate and everyone's upset.
Yeah. Well, that's really stupid. That's
I want to be
a
that
stupid
guy,
take,
but I drafted John Hall really high in my fantasy draft the year prior to him blowing out his ankle, and then he fell
think
in
he
the
caused
shower. Then he fell in the shower and blew.
That's
out his
also
Achilles.
absurd. That also was probably very scary for him. I'm not gonna lie. Imagine like falling in the shower and like destroying your ankle.
Was it the shower? I think it was the stairs.
I thought it was the shower.
I'll look it up. I'll look it
An
up.
athlete definitely just fell in the shower like in the last 2 years. I think it was him. He's probably got a big ass shower though. So
Probably.
have a
John
massive
Wall
shower.
ruptured his
You have a massive
Achilles.
shower?
I would have one if I was like super rich. It'd be like a mile long.
It just says slipping and falling in his home.
Oh, that's good.
He slipped in the shower.
He
Where else you
definitely
gonna
slipped
slip?
in the shower.
Can't slip anywhere else.
Or he was taking a bath and he slipped when he was stepping out of the bath. Like, you know, when you're like,
Bro,
you
I
have your
did that so
bath
many
and then-
times. Yes,
And then
yes.
you
I
put
don't
your
take
foot
baths.
on the edge of the bath and then you slip.
I don't take baths anymore, but
I
when I was
don't
a kid,
either.
like it'd be slippery
That's
when you
true,
go
yeah.
out and you'd be just fall.
I had a friend who took a bath and it was so hot that he burned the skin on his leg. And it's like to this day, it's burnt.
How does that even happen?
You know how burn victims, they have like kind of like disheveled skin, whatever you want to
Third
call it.
degree
Why did
burns
you make
from
it so
a
hot?
bath.
I don't think he did it on purpose, but
Okay, but
could
at that point where it's
actually my
like,
friend's brother.
if it's
but-
removing your skin, it's got to be fucking hot.
Yeah.
I will go as far to say it seems like a pretty, I don't know, a boneheaded move. I'll put it at that. I'll put it lightly. It seems like a boneheaded move.
Sully, do you have a Nick?
The Knicks suck, dude.
You could
I
say
have a-
so many Knicks.
The Knicks, I don't
Any
fucking-
pick from the 2010s.
I
you
can
could
name
say
about
for the
3 Knicks players right now. I'll name a Giant player though.
Okay.
None of you even. I bet you guys don't know this Giant player.
Who?
You know Sam Beal.
Yeah.
You know Sam Beal
You used the 3rd round pick in the
fucking what is it called?
whatever the extra draft is.
yeah.
You
Yep.
used a 3rd round pick on him, and he
Dude.
did fuck all.
Yeah, and I remember he was supposed to be really, really good. They were saying he would have been like a 2nd round pick in the real NFL draft, but he like kind of failed out of school a little bit, like didn't like do his work or something, and they like didn't let him play.
Mhm.
So he had to go in the extra draft, whatever, for all the extras, the outcasts. And he was supposed to be sick, and he wasn't. Another guy I could also add to that list is DeAndre Baker.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be really good. We traded up for him into the 1st round. I think it was the last pick in the 1st round. Then he pulled a gun out on someone, and that's his history.
That's never good.
Isn't he on
Yeah.
the Chiefs right now?
I think that was like his like case was kind of ruled bullshit.
He was with who was he with when that happened?
He was with the
another player.
guy. I think he was on the Redskins, the football team. The guy, wasn't he?
DeAndre Baker and fuck. He's on the Broncos now.
Wait,
Oh,
he has a name.
yeah.
He has a name, and like we made a meme with it. I remember. It was like something like
God, what is his name?
Was
we
it
made a
Suwak
meme.
Cravens?
No,
no.
The
Stuart
player
Cravens
he-
just like stopped playing football.
Yeah.
the player he was with was actually like a good player. I remember.
Yeah.
Oh,
DeAndre Baker,
I'm trying to think.
DeAndre
I feel like I
Quentin
knew it.
Dunbar. Quentin Dunbar.
Yeah, Quentin
Quentin
Dunbar.
Dunbar. Yes, and we did Quentin behind bars or something like that. Yeah.
That's right.
That's funny.
That works. I mean, I'll just throw out Jabari Parker. I know we've
Yeah.
already talked about
Wizards
Jabari
legend.
Parker was a dog.
knee injuries and guys whose careers got
Wait, didn't the
derailed by
Bucks draft
injury.
him or the Bucks shot him? No.
We took him
Bucks got
second.
him after.
We took him
Oh, the
second
Bucks did draft
overall.
him.
We took
Yeah.
him second
Yeah.
overall. That was after the year we went 15-67.
That's good.
The worst.
Jabari was fire in college.
He was
was.
amazing.
It's funny how many good Duke players there have been, and the one to win the fucking national championship is Jahlil Okafor. That's
We
crazy.
Could talk about Jahlil. We could talk about so many Duke
And
players
Jahlil
taken in
Okafor.
the top 5 that have flamed out. Marvin
Yeah.
Bagley,
I mean, Duke fucking
Jahlil
sucks.
Okafor,
That's the thing.
Shut your
Jabari
mouth.
Parker.
Fucking
Like,
pathetic ass school.
Jabari Parker, like when we took him second overall, I was so fucking hyped, but we didn't get the first overall pick, so I was mad we didn't get
Who
Andrew
went
Wiggins.
first? Wiggins,
Andrew
Mabel
Wiggins.
Jordan,
Yeah, and then the third pick was Joel Embiid, so that kind of hurt.
Joel Embiid.
But Parker looked good early on in his career, blew out his knee, came back, looked pretty solid, blew out his knee again, and then he just wasn't good because Giannis was a beast at that point. And then we let him go. There was a big discourse around the fan base if they should keep him or not. I was on the side of let him go because they have Giannis and Parker just doesn't fit. They let him go, and it was the best decision they ever made because he got signed for like $20-something million and was not good. But I do actually, there's one other player I want to bring up that is an interesting talking point. And it's like a player that was really fucking great, but it wasn't anything on the field that ruined their potential. And that's Aldon Smith.
Yeah, I was thinking about Aldon Smith.
I feel like he reached his potential. I mean, he was amazing.
19 sacks.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was
second year.
Yeah. Wait, was that how early he got in legal trouble? I thought he played at least like 4 years.
I don't remember.
I mean, I know he kind of bounced. He got back into it though.
What year did he get drafted? Let me think here. What year did he get drafted? Nah, I think it was 2010 he got drafted, right? 2011. He got drafted in 2011. And then in 2012, that's when he had his DUI. And then after that, he just couldn't get back into it. He won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Was it a Pro Bowler and an All-Pro? First teamer, and then just disappeared. And then he went to Dallas this past year, or in 2020, and he wasn't
bad. No, he was pretty solid.
He wasn't that bad. So I want to know your guys' thoughts on like players like that just like they're really great, but just they're fucking idiots, and it ruins their careers.
Matthew Sullivan comes to mind.
Yeah,
what?
I agree.
I think. I mean, I put them when we're talking about athletes that never reached their full potential. I put them on a similar list. I don't think you can weigh them any less different than guys that had injuries because we're just talking about guys that didn't reach their potential. The reasons for they didn't reach it is obviously they don't matter when we're talking about guys that didn't reach their potential. Is Aldon Smith more of a moron than, Derrick Rose? Yeah, obviously he got in legal trouble and all this shit. Whereas Derrick Rose injuries were his downfall. So it's more of unfair for Derrick Rose because he didn't directly cause them. But I mean, we're talking about guys that didn't reach their potential. Now, Aldon Smith, I had thought that he played like 4 years of being an elite edge rusher.
He played in the league before he was out of the league. I think he played for 5 years.
Yeah. He was
because he went to the Raiders, right?
But he was like, he missed some games, right? And
yeah, because he got suspended.
Yeah.
But we could also bring up Ray Rice in this conversation.
I think Ray Rice reached potential, but agreed. Yeah, I mean,
I had a Ray Rice Super Bowl jersey when I was like 8. Then he had some action just the next year. I was like, I'm gonna throw that away.
Yeah, Ray Rice was a beast.
It's a great kid.
So good.
It's a great icon for kids.
He was on my fantasy team. Like that 4th and 29 that he completed?
Yeah.
He was on my Chargers. Yeah, he was on my fantasy team that year.
Yeah.
Goated guy. Well, no, he's not. But yeah, about that.
Goated guy.
That's going on TikTok.
Don't mean it. Don't mean it. Don't mean it.
Ray Rice. Goated guy.
From a football standpoint, goated guy. All right. Anything else you guys want to? Anyone else?
I had a question that wasn't related to this, but I forget what it was. So,
well, if you think about it, send us a text.
Think about it before if you think about it before the end of the podcast, for in 20 seconds.
Yeah. Outro.
You can ask it.
Kurt, take it away.
All right, boys and girls who are listening. Thank you guys for listening to the All Sports Culture Highlighted podcast. We'll be back soon. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, subscribe to the YouTube, do all that good stuff. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Come on.